done. So this is the time to redesign. Crisis gives us an opportunity. We are not looking at the opportunity part. We are always looking for the crisis part, how to get away from the crisis. I said, don't try to rush away from the crisis. This is the best time to fix the world, fix the system, and work on the system. Because if you want to rush away, you are only waiting for the next crisis, because you have not fixed anything. And then I concentrate on the fixing of the concept of business. I said, there's only one concept of business in the whole world. Business means business to make money. Profit maximization is the mission of business. I said, it doesn't fit the kind of people that we are. Economists kind of imagine human being as a one-dimensional being. All they do in their life is make money. Because in business, that's what they do. I said, human beings are not one-dimensional beings. So it's a very damaging interpretation the economists have done, putting them as a one-dimensional being. Today we work as if we are some kind of a robot. We always rushing for money, running for money, make more money, make more money. Human beings are not robots. We are not money-making machines. We are human beings. Human beings essentially are multidimensional beings. We are selfish. We are also selfless. We have many other interests in life, many other sources of happiness in life besides making money. But the economist took only a very narrow view of human being. So they built the whole theory of business on the basis of selfishness. Everything is for me, nothing for others. All I'm pleading now, I said, why don't we take human being as a multidimensional being and build a business on the basis of selflessness, where the principle would be, in that business, everything is for others and nothing for me. And people say, oh, no, nobody will do business like that. I said, yes, they would do, if you give a chance. Today you don't give a chance. Your theory says this is what you do, so we follow the theory. Always we make money. If we had built a business on the basis of selflessness, which we may call it a social business, that's what I'm calling them, which is a non-loss, non-dividend company for a social objective. In that business, you don't make money for yourself. In that business, you are trying to solve a problem of the world. Since I'm talking about it, people are very puzzled. How can you have a company like that? So we started creating those companies in Bangladesh. We created many of them. And then big companies are coming forward and say, we'd like to do a social business with you. So I said, please, welcome. So one of the first big company that started working with us was Danone of France, and also in Spain. Danone is actually rooted from Spain. So we created a Grameen Danone company in Bangladesh to produce yogurt. It's a social business. We designed a social business. This is designed for the purpose of addressing the malnutrition among the children. Bangladesh has 150 million people, lots of children too. But half the children in Bangladesh are malnourished. Most of them are severely malnourished. So what we do, we put all the micronutrients which are missing in the children into this yogurt and make it very cheap and sell it to the poor children. And they love it. It's a very delicious yogurt and it's very cheap. And the experts tell us if a child eats 2 cups of this yogurt within a week and somehow maintain this rate for 8 to 9 months, the child gets all the micronutrients back. And the child becomes a healthy, playful child. So this is dedicated to solving the malnutrition of the children. Danone, Grameen, they don't want to make money out of it. In a social business, investors don't want to make money for themselves. They want to solve a problem. This is the problem of malnutrition. Now it's flourishing. We have our first plant, which is fully utilized now. We are setting up the second plant. And in the process, we'll build at least 50 such plants all over the country so that every child has an access to this delicious yogurt for them, so that the children grow up as a healthy children. Because if a child is malnourished, it doesn't grow. So you'll see many of the children in Bangladesh very short because couldn't grow. And not only physically they cannot grow, their mental faculty doesn't develop either. So we are damaging the whole human structure, just missing this thing. And it can be done in a business way. Government tried in many free distribution of this, it doesn't work. So we are trying to address that. And I'm sure there are many other ideas how it can be done if we are trying to do that. Business people will not do that because they are looking for opportunities for making money. This doesn't look like an opportunity for making money. But that doesn't mean that nobody will do that. The same businesses, if they say there is a business called social business, will do that. So we created companies with Veolia, another French company, to bring water in Bangladesh, in the villages. Water is a big problem in Bangladesh, like many other countries. So water is a big problem. In our country, it's a special problem because of arsenic in our water. 75 million people in Bangladesh drink water contaminated with arsenic. So they drink poison every day. Their children drink poison every day. And now researchers are reporting people are dying because of arsenic problem. Imagine the children drinking this poison, what will happen in future? Because this is a recent, about 20, 30-year problem now. So it will become more and more intense. So what we have done, we created a water treatment plant in the village to make water very cheap so that everybody can drink and the company can recover the cost, because the company has to be sustainable. In social business, company can even make a profit, but owners don't take any profit. Owner can take back the investment money, but nothing more than that, because they have dedicated it to solve a problem. So social business is a problem-solving business. We have now a joint venture with the BASF of Germany to produce mosquito nets, treated mosquito nets, you know, the malaria and everything, dengue, mosquito-borne diseases. This is a beautiful mosquito net. If you sleep under it, mosquitoes cannot bite you because any mosquito comes near it, it's repelled. So people will have protection from malaria and dengue. So we are producing this mosquito nets as a collaboration between BASF and Grameen as a social business. We don't want to make money, we want to make very cheap. Everybody can afford it. We have now a Grameen Adidas shoe company to produce shoes extremely cheap so that nobody in the world has to go without shoes. That is a challenge I gave to them. I said, you build beautiful shoes, but you need a kind of social mission. And that mission could be expressed by saying, nobody in the world should go without shoes. Nobody should be walking around barefoot. And as a shoe company, it's our responsibility to produce shoes affordable to even to the poorest person. And that's what they are doing as a social business in Bangladesh in collaboration, producing extremely cheap shoes so that nobody has to go barefoot. It's not because of comfort. It's not because of any fashion. Because many of our diseases in Bangladesh and so in many other countries come to the skin of our feet. All the parasitic diseases, all the bloated stomachs that you see in children is because you got all the parasites inside. And that's another cause of malnutrition. So now this is another social business. So we can create varieties of social businesses. It's all question of how you design. Social business is about creativity. I'm not saying all other businesses should be closed down. I said, no, let all the businesses flourish. At the same time, I'm inviting that you can use your talent, your creativity to create social business to address all the problems we have. Today, we are in a stage where the technology in the world, knowledge in the world, is doubling every 4 years. Maybe it will be shorter and shorter as we go on. What do we do with all this knowledge? What do we do with all this technology? What do we do now? All this technology is in the command of business. And what do the business do? They do what they are asked to do, make money. Because they are all glued to the monitor of the stock market, whether their stock market is going up. So they want to make money, desperately making money. So all this technology is being used to make money. I said technology is like a vehicle, it's like a car. It doesn't decide where he wants to go. It's the driver who decides where the car should go. If the technology is a vehicle, if it is a car, now the business people are the drivers. They are deciding to take it to the peak of the money, peak of the profit. All we need to do, have a driver who wants to say, I'm taking this car to solve problems that I see. Problem of nutrition, problem of healthcare, problem of financial system, problem of welfare system, keeping people on welfare, problem of housing, problem of drugs, whatever, problem of crimes. If we bring all this technology and creativity to address this problem, these problems will disappear before we realize it. And the social business is that door through which we bring this technology and creativity, solve all the problems. And young people love that. And that's what the message for this conference. Young people feel that, what do I do, make money? That doesn't excite them. My parents made already a lot of money because the parents are successful parents. They are looking for opportunities to change the world. And they don't see how. All they can say, you go to the best school, get the best degree, and get the best job. That's not an exciting prospect. Best job means I have to work for a company and help the owners of the company, shareholders of the company, make more money. If I could use my talent, my creativity to do something concrete, that I'll feel good. And this young generation has a lot more technology in their command than we ever had in our childhood. They can connect the whole world right away with anybody, anywhere, and communicate with them. And with bright ideas they can do. If we can expose to them the possibilities of creating businesses to solve problems, you'll not realize how many great ideas it will come up. So we have to give them options that yes, you can create your world in a way that you want. And you have to tell the young people that you are the creator of your world. Nobody has handed over a world to you and you have to live in it. You're not a tenant, you are a creator. So you create your own world. Tell us or figure it out. What are the things you want in your own world? The one that you want to create. List them. Hang it up. Work for it. And it will happen. That's why I keep telling, we can create a world without poverty because there is no reason why anybody should be poor, because nothing is missing in them. And then we will create that world, we'll create museums, poverty museums, so the next generation can go and see what poverty used to be like. Because it won't be here in the world anymore. And we can create that day much sooner than we think. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.